Our fourth panelist, Srimati Ashwati Chandran, serving as Faculty Associate at the Center for Spiritual Studies, Amrita Darshanam, Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham, Amritapuri campus, a postgraduate in electrical engineering who has spent 8 years in teaching, industry, and research. She has a strong passion for Indian culture and history and has explored comparative religion studies as well. She has been active in coordinating and conducting workshops and training sessions in these areas too. A passionate teacher engaged in mentoring and working with students, and also mentored and volunteered in the activities of IUD as well. Are in the oral tradition and regional exaggerations defeating the very purpose of our itihasas written by great rishis? I request Srimati Ashwati Chandran to kindly answer the question. Namaste, Ashwati ma'am, over to you.
Namaste. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Oh. We know that languages are carriers of culture. That is, a social and cultural context of society is important in a literary translation because the artistic beauty and the emotional aspect lies in the language, which is dependent on people's perception, core values, as well as the history of the society or the community. That is, a narrative is imbibed in the consciousness of that particular group only when they identify themselves with the personages or events related to that itihasa. It helps them to connect and relate to different characters with situations. Thus, the reception of itihasas is considered as a part and parcel of the existence of people and a unique relationship they have with the community. So, in our course, we have already explored the various textual traditions based on Mahabharata, as well as very popular regional tales based on Mahabharata also. Now, let us consider the cases of Ramayana as well. So, Ramayana, as we know, is an evergreen worldwide accepted historical itihasa written by Maharshi Valmiki. Valmiki Ramayana is the oldest available version of Ramayana. It has influenced all sects of society, which is evident from the fact that there are many versions, different versions of Ramayana among different people and various cultures and belief systems. Although the core story of Bhagavan Sri Rama and Sita Devi remains much the same everywhere, we have the stories often modified and embellished according to the regional retellings and versions. Thus, today we have different versions of Ramayana in various languages. For example, the Ramayana being called the North Indian Ramayana is the Tulasidas Ramacharita. The Valmiki Ramayana is the one followed in South India. In addition to that, in addition to the multiple versions in India, there are different versions of Ramayana across the world as well. Let us consider the example of the Jain version of Ramayana. So in this Ramayana, Rama, it is not Rama who kills Ravana. That is, this detail is important because it was meant to present Rama as an ideal Jain hero who has forsaken violence and who, at the end of his life, has attained enlightenment. These modifications to Valmiki's story were necessary to illustrate the Jain principle of karma. That is, if you live a pious life like Bhagavan Sri Rama, you will be rewarded with a better existence for your next life, and you will be slowly moved or you will slowly attain enlightenment. Also, in almost every part of a country, we can find places associated with Ramayana while according to their belief system. For example, there is a place in Kerala which has a very intimate connection with Ramayana, which has natural testimonials of some of the events in Ramayana. The temple's name is Sita Devi Temple at Pulpalli in Wayanad district of Kerala. The native inhabitants of Wayanad include several tribal communities. The local belief of Ramayana are prevalent among these tribes from time immemorial. The natives of Wayanad believe that it was at Pulpalli that Sita Devi gave birth to Lava and Kusha when she was sent to the forest by Bhagavan Rama. It is from this holy land of Pulpalli that sage Valmiki recited Ramayana to Lava and Kusha according to the belief prevalent in Wayanad district. Also, there are a lot of specialities and natural attractions to this place. The bamboos grown here does not have thorns in it, since it was a place where Lava and Kusha used to play during their childhood. Even though leeches are very common in every forest of Wayanad, no marks of leeches can be seen in Pulpalli. It is believed that when leeches bit Lava and Kusha from Shishumala, Sita Devi cursed them. Another main attraction of this place is the Mandara trees in its courtyard. 2 flowers blossom every year, that is throughout the year, irrespective of its off-season or irrespective of its season. The 2 flowers, it is believed that the 2 flowers represent Lava and Kusha. Also, there is a river flowing beside the temple, which is known as the Kannaram Pura. That is a river believed to be formed from the tears of Sita Devi. So most of these beliefs are orally transmitted from generations to generation. The temple festivals are occasions when the tribal communities, they get together and they perform their primitive art forms. Hence, we can also say, hence it is clear that the temple festivals are also a platform to preserve and protect the culture and traditions of the communities. So from all these examples, it is evident that the living Mahabharata and Ramayana tradition has a special role in molding values, ethos, and belief in life which cannot be undermined. The various recessions of this Itihasa inspire the contemporary world with its universal appeal in multiple ways. Hence, each regional tale plays a very important role in shaping thoughts and insights to people about life and living. These regional versions have gained a life of their own, igniting the collective and individual imaginations of common people. Even though the regional versions contain subtle and gross variations, they are best examples of the power of oral traditions down the ages. The various popular regional versions are not an exaggeration or falsification of the Itihasas. There is no doubt in the fact that the profound influence of these Itihasas have served as a moral guide for the people across the globe over generations. This does not defy the historicity or the purpose of Itihasas, but they rather add an emotional element to these Itihasas when they are absorbed into local traditions and culture. So that is the answer to the question which was asked. I hope it's clear. Thank you.